All right, another tournament style chess problem to solve. Black to move, as the coach is saying. And if you have never solved one of these problems before, this one should be gettable. So hopefully I can help you figure out the mental pattern to go through. So what's going on here? Well, let's say our knight could attack his bishop or the g-pawn. Our queen can attack his bishop or his bishop. It attacks both bishops, which is kind of odd. And nothing else attacks anything. So it kind of limits what kind of things we can do from our side. Now, from his side, his queen's attacking our knight. His white squared bishop is attacking our other knight on g6. His bishop is attacking our queen. That's a number one threat, really. And that is all. I mean, queen threatens pawn, but okay, whatever. I think all the others are clearly bigger. So when you're looking at a position like this, you know, the things you don't want to do. You don't want to be a reactionary, grab a piece, move it. He's attacking my queen. Oh, grab a piece, move it, get out of the way, because you got to think about it. You have time to think. In a tournament, you're going to be playing, and this has probably occurred after about 12 moves have been made. It's not a big time problem. So you're like, oh man, whatever this guy did, he's attacking my queen. That's terrible. What can I do? Can I get out of this queen attack advantageously is the question. So one of the things we could do if we wanted to get out of this queen attack would be to counterattack his queen possibly, or move our queen out of danger. The queen can move out of danger to say d7 or d8. His bishop is going to have the ability to take a rook though. So now we could also move it out by retreating, you know, by knight to d5, which would attack his queen. So if he takes our queen, we take his queen. And if he took our bishop with his bishop, then we could take his rook. This is what is known as the Desperado. Now, depending on your ability, the Desperado situation is good and bad. The good part is it has potential path deviations that can go to your favor. But it requires a lot of skill. And if you're not highly skilled yet, the Desperado situation is generally not the best. Never hurts to look. You know, looking is always free. But if I'm playing this, knight d5, if he takes my queen, I take his queen. If he takes my bishop, well, you know, all I can do is take his rook. And really what we're doing, he could just take our knight, and he's gained 2 pieces for a rook. You know, we both lost queens. I would be losing a black bishop and my knight that's forward, and he would be losing a rook. So he's getting a material advantage on the Desperado. Knight to d5 is not a good move unless it's the only thing that doesn't lose worse. So Desperado in this case is not the thing you want to. You don't want to. The danger of it being a Desperado attack is that the guy who moves second in the chain of Desperado is the guy who's usually at the disadvantage. So it's like you attack a piece, he counterattacks one of your pieces. That's where he's the second place Desperado. So really, you want to be initiating a Desperado, you know, almost most of the time. There's no ultimate rule, but in general, you know, he who initiates Desperado is usually the one who ends up doing better. That's an unscientific statement because I remember that being the case when I do Desperados. It's kind of one of those unwritten rules. So it's not necessarily good or bad. You know, it's always on the specifics of this position. Now, if we don't want to disappear and run away, what can we do? What do you notice? Like, one of the things you should always look at, especially with queens when you're looking at potential moves, is that what pieces do you have lined up with your queen? Either in support of your queen, like a bishop or a rook, or lined up as a target for your queen, an enemy piece of whatever. Because sometimes this will give you an idea of what to look for. So, you know, you see two pieces, two different sets. The white queen is teamed up with his bishop on c5 along that g1 to a7 diagonal. And the black queen and bishop are teamed up on the b8 to h2 diagonal. So let's look and see, well, what is on the diagonal for us? Since we're attacking, it's our move. If we attack, we get to attack first, right? So, hey, well, look, you look at that queen. If you extend the diagonal from the bishop toward the king side, what happens if our queen lands on those squares? If our queen landed on e5, he could just trade it. It's no big deal. If our queen landed on g3, he would just capture it. Well, what if our queen landed on h2? Well, he would just take it with his king unless our knight was not there. If our knight disappears, isn't the h2 square vulnerable? So take a look at it yourself. See what you think. If you have to pause the video to look at this, pause the video. Okay, we're back. So I'm not going to tell you what the move is that I'm doing yet, but look at one of the things you could do. You could play knight takes d3. The only problem with that is he'd take your queen. Bishop takes queen. So, okay, we can get the knight out of there. What happens if we go, say, knight to h3 check? That would work, right? Well, it's yes and no. It does vacate the line. And it does it with a check, which means he has to respond to the vacating of the line. Problem is, he has a move that he can play that would kind of stomp you. See if you can figure out what that move is. Pause the video if you need to. And we're back. Hopefully you saw queen takes h3. So knight to h3 check, queen takes h3, and we're dust. We've lost this game. We need to wait to play another game because we lost this one. There's nothing you can do. Now, what do you think is the winning move for black? Pause the video if you need to and spend 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever it takes. Trust me, it's worth it. And we're back. Okay, hopefully you pause the video long enough to see knight to e2 check. It seems fairly basic. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. Now, come on. I know you guys are good. Surely you see the move for black. Well, yes, I did see it. Don't call me Shirley. So, I'm sure you guys saw that was checkmate. But, you know, this is the things you have to look at. I saw this much faster, but it's not a question about how fast you see it. It's just a question of how correctly you see it. I'll take slow and correct over fast and incorrect and sloppy. It looks impressive when you play a move like this. Bing, bang, boom. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Okay. But it's more important that you be accurate. And if you're not the fastest player, it doesn't matter. There's no game of chess where they give an award for the guy who plays the moves the fastest. But there is an award that they give for the guy who plays the best move. That's called first place. So you have to always remember, play your game, play at your speed, do your business, and the rest will take care of itself. If you try to react and be something you're not, or to act like something you aren't, or trying to impress someone with something that doesn't really matter, it's going to bite you. So hopefully this helped a lot and just showed you work through the stuff as we have been doing, and it's going to work out in your favor. You don't have to be fast. The greats that, Gary Kasparov and Bobby Fischer were super fast players with accuracy. But the key part is not that they were super fast, they were accurate. Those guys were just unbelievable players. It's their accuracy was what made them what they were. The trap is to follow their speed, which was impressive. I mean, it really is. But those guys would tell you themselves that they're playing for accuracy. It doesn't really matter to them. They've played the great players that you've seen, that you like to see, you like to watch. They've all played long games that was won only because they were super accurate. So that's the key. Don't try to be fancy. Do your business. We realized we had a battery, it's what they call that, with a queen and the bishop. We had a dark squared battery on H2. And if we could move the knight with an attack, preferably a check, the rest takes care of itself, because the knight check has to be answered. So he takes the knight, and then we've cleared. This is what is known as a clearance sacrifice. You're clearing out a square access or a line access to get to H2, and bingo, checkmate. So, man, hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys know what to do. Talk to you later.